In today's video, I'm looking at a Cramps classic, The Way I Walk. And I have looked at a couple of Cramps tracks previously. I've looked at Goo Goo Muck and The Human Fly, I think, but that was quite some time ago. And I do really enjoy playing Cramps stuff. It's raw, it's basic in just the right kind of a way. And for that reason, most of their tracks are quite beginner friendly. So I hope everyone will have a try at playing this tune. I'm going to begin by playing it through for you. I think I'm going to play the entire track today, and then I will break it down in gloriously nerdy detail. So there we are. This track is from 1978, and in fact it was the B-side of their cover of the track Surfin' Bird. And this track also is a cover, which I didn't actually realise until I started doing a bit of research for this video. And originally it was recorded by a Canadian artist called Jack Scott. And I did have a listen to that track, and it's nice enough. It's quite a mild-mannered rock and roll song, and the Cramps have really made it their own, and they've injected their usual kind of swagger and menace to the song. I first came across this song on this album, Off the Bone, which is a compilation of a lot of the Cramps' best-known tracks. Highly recommended if you don't know the Cramps stuff already. This is quite a good way into their music, and it's got this great 3D cover as well. Sadly, my copy of this didn't come with the 3D glasses. Now, let's get down to business. I'm going to pitch my explanation here more towards players who are at the beginning of their guitar journey, to use that horrible phrase, which I don't like using. I don't know why I said it actually, but you know what I mean. Let's go. We're in the key of E, and as I said, this one's fairly straightforward. No huge technical difficulties here. It's not about technique and chops, this kind of music. Though I do hesitate to say, oh, it's suitable for total beginners, because I'm sure if you're a total beginner, there's stuff here that you will actually find quite hard. But I think if you know an E chord and you know your major bar chord shapes, maybe you know your minor pentatonic scale, then you should be able to tackle this one without too many problems. We've got three basic sections here. There's a verse, there's a bridge, and there's a fantastic little solo as well. So let's start with the verse. And for this video, I'm focusing on the main guitar part, which is played by Poison Ivy. There's another guitar part as well, which is really just playing the basic chords, assuming that's played by Brian Gregory, the original Cramps guitar player. I'm not positive about that, but I think that's likely. So the song kicks off with this riff. So really it's just a G bar chord going to an open E chord. And one technical thing that is quite useful when you're switching between bar chords and an E chord is to play the E chord like this. So to play it with fingers 3, 4 and then 2, because then those fingers are in place for the bar chord and it's a nice smooth change. And we're playing the G chord twice and the E chord twice. I'm going up, down, up, down. And then we just let that E chord hang. Now the timing here is important. We've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, up, down, up, down. So it's got a swing feel, that kind of da, 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 da. And you're just letting that E chord hang. That's what the Poison Ivy guitar part is doing. I think on the other guitar part, you're actually keeping the strum going. So. But for the Poison Ivy part, I think you just want to let that E chord hang. It's an opportunity if you've got a whammy bar just to give it a little bit of a dip or a wobble. So that's the opening riff. We're playing that twice. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to an A chord. So this is the 4 chord. And it's the same rhythm, but we're going from an E up to an A at the 5th fret. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. So up, down on the E, up, down on the A. That's what Poison Ivy is doing. I think on the other guitar it's sometimes a G to an A. So either of those options work. I'm going from an E to an A. And then we're heading to the 5 chord, which is a B. And the rhythm, the strumming is all exactly the same. It's 1 and 2 and 3. And on that B chord there's a stop, so you're just going to want to release pressure with your fretting hand there. 2, 3, 4. Then we've got a little walk down which takes us back to the top of this section again. So this is slightly different each time it happens, but the basic idea is we've got a B, A, and then going down to a G. So you can just play it like that, playing twice on each note. Sometimes it might be triplets or a mixture of swung eighth notes and triplets. Sometimes I can hear an open string in there as well. So any of those options will work. And then that takes us back to the start of this section again. Go around for the next verse. Let me put all of that verse section together for you then. 1 and 2 and 3. The other main section of the tune, I'm going to call it a bridge section, and here the main guitar is playing kind of a bass line idea. And then just adapting that to fit the 1-4-5 chord. So over the E chord we've got this idea. So it's a low E and a G sharp at the 4th fret. And then a B at the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and then frets 4 to 2 on the 5th string. So it's got that nice swing feel. I'm playing all of this with down, up, down, up, down, up strokes of the pick. And I think we're playing that 4 times. tonally, I think this sounds good. If you pick quite close to the bridge, you just get a bit of extra brightness and twang. Then we're heading to the 4 chord, and it's the same riff, we've just transposed it, so we're just moving everything over onto the next set of strings, starting on the 5th string. Just playing that twice, and then on the 5 chord, on the B, we've got this. So we're playing this note here, an F sharp, 4th fret on the 4th string, and then down to this B note here, the root of the 5 chord. And then another of these little walk downs. So I've got a B, A, and G. I think coming out of the bridge section of the tune, it makes sense to play the B here rather than up here, although it sounds pretty much identical. Again, Poison Ivy varies this a little bit. You can just play quarter notes or swung 8th notes or triplets, or combinations of all of those things. And that then leads back into another verse. Let me put all of that bridge section together then. We just need to talk about this guitar solo then, which I love. I think this is a great solo. I think it would be a fantastic first solo for anybody to learn. It's really nicely done. It's memorable, great tone, great phrasing. And it kicks off like this. So we're on the D string here, and I'm hammering on from the 1st fret to the 2nd fret. And then I'm playing that 2nd note again. We're just repeating that, so it's a triplet rhythm we've got here: 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... It's important to get the picking working for you here. The way I'm doing it is I'm picking down, I'm hammering on, and then I'm picking up. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And we've got 2 bars worth of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we've got this. And we're really just coming straight down the E minor pentatonic scale. So starting on the open top string and playing that twice. Then we've got a D, an open B, and then we're over onto the next string, A, and then G, and then on down the scale, E, D, and ending on B. So we're starting off picking each note twice, and then when we get to the G, we're just playing each note once. The next phrase is this. So nice melodic phrase. This fits over the 4 chord, and we're starting at this C sharp. This is the 4th fret on the 5th string. And then we've got an E and an F sharp, open G string, and then back to this E. And we repeat that. So it's 2, 3, 4. And then for the 5 chord, this is exactly the same as the bridge section. So we're going to this F sharp, down to the B, and then the walk down, which leads us back to the main riff. Let me put all of that together for you. And that's pretty much it, I think. There are, of course, little variations that you can hear on the original recording, and I'm sure I'm not playing it exactly like that recording. I'm not trying to be too slavish to that. I'm trying to go for feel over reproducing all of those little details, though in my tab I will try and write that out as accurately as I can. Let's talk gear then, and for the two guitar parts on this track I recorded the rhythm guitar part separately, and if you listen to the recording, that part is slightly darker sounding and it's drier sounding. So for that I was using my Telecaster into a Fender Deluxe amp, and for that guitar part I was using the normal input number 1, and I've got the volume up quite high, it's on about 6, and then I'm just using the aux box to attenuate the volume in the room slightly, just to make it a bit more comfortable when I'm recording this video. And that sounds like this. And then the lead guitar sound is slightly different. It's brighter, it's got this fantastic rockabilly reverb sound. So for that I'm using my Jazzmaster. I'm again using the Fender Deluxe, but for this part I'm actually going into the bright channel, and I've got the settings slightly different. And then for the reverb, I'm not using the reverb that's built into the amp. I'm using my Surfy Bear reverb unit, which is kind of my go-to reverb for these kind of rockabilly reverb sounds or surf reverb sounds, where the reverb is really a feature of the music, and with the Surfy Bear you can just dial it in a bit more precisely than you can dial in the reverb that's built into the amp. And the Surfy Bear's got this kind of magical sound to it as well. I think reverb aficionados talk about the drippiness of a reverb sound, and the Surfy Bear's certainly got that drippy sound to it, and that sounds like this. And that's really it. It's a great sound and quite simple to get, really. It's just a nice guitar into a nice amp that's turned up quite loud, just so it naturally starts to break up, and then a bit of spring reverb on top of that. So that's about it for this week. As usual, tab and backing track is up on the old Patreon page. Thanks as ever to my wonderful patrons. Your support is very much appreciated. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your marvellous support, and thanks very much for watching this video to everybody. I'll see you next time.